Hello again, my friends. Jason here with another Mandalorian Season 3 review. Today, I will be talking about Episode 3, Chapter 19, titled The Convert. But before I get started, I will be talking some spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode yet and you don't want it spoiled for you, stop the video, head over to Disney+, come on back, and we can talk about it. But now that we're past the spoiler warning, let's dive into this, shall we? I'm probably not the only one, but I got some serious Andor vibes from this episode. Just the fact that a majority of it takes place on Coruscant. I really like Coruscant, and every time they explore it, it's such a densely layered planet, and there's so much potential for storytelling just on one planet because it's so big and the levels run so deep, and it's just so much good, bad, and ugly that just happened on this one planet. So being on Coruscant was nice. Following Dr. Pershing was really cool. And I'll be honest, I was not sold on Elia Kane from moment one. I knew there was something off about her. She was just being too nice to Dr. Pershing. She was being too helpful. And I know she's clearly still working with the Empire from within the New Republic. That was not a surprise to me. What was surprising to me, although it probably shouldn't be, because this is kind of what these stories are being used for, it's clearly setting up the events of the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. Because in the beginning, at the Opera House, which I thought it was really cool that they used the same Opera House from Revenge of the Sith, in Dr. Pershing's lecture, he's really referring to strand casting. Now, if you don't know what strand casting is, it's this thing in the Star Wars universe where you basically create a force-sensitive being out of purely genetic material. It's not the traditional way where you have a mother and a father, and it's not exactly the Anakin Skywalker way where he's just kind of made out of nothing. You take one piece of genetic material and another and you put it together and you hope that it becomes force sensitive. Rey's father was a strand cast. Rey was a strand cast. Snoke and Palpatine's clone were strand cast. So it's interesting that they're playing with these ideas already this far back in the post-Imperial era. And I think that's really cool. I really liked the way this episode kind of handled everyday life. I really enjoy when Star Wars goes into the nuts and bolts of the galaxy. If it was just a day in the life of an office worker, but on Coruscant, I'd be happy. I really like that stuff. I know, the action and everything is what drives the episodes and what drives Star Wars and what makes Star Wars so special. But just to see those little, those nooks and crannies in everyday life, I think was really interesting. Now, of course, speaking of all that action stuff, we get back to Din Djarin and Bo-Katan after she saved him from the mines of Mandalore, and she came face to face with the Mythosaur. Clearly, she's still trying to distance herself from all that. She's kind of in denial and looking for a reason, kind of looking for an out when she asks him, "Did you see anything?" She's looking for an out to think maybe that didn't happen. It's not real. But she's starting to believe it because once they get back to the covert and Din Djarin proves that they were in fact in the mines of Mandalore and both of them stepped in the waters and she's embraced by the covert, it becomes very clear that she's kind of finally feeling a little accepted, although she's still very guarded and distanced from that. And of course, I like that the armorer sensed that and said, listen, you can leave anytime you want, but as long as you're here, you're one of us. And I thought that was really cool. I gotta say, I thought this was a pretty good episode. There were times where I felt like, even though it was cool to see Dr. Pershing and Elia Kane kind of going on this little adventure, bonding, seeing daily life on Coruscant, that's kind of an Andor thing, and I like my Andor being Andor. I don't really like the Mandalorian doing it too much, but that's just a minor gripe. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm going to go ahead and give this episode a 4 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. It definitely improved upon what they did in the premiere. And last episode was very much action heavy. And I'm glad that they kind of tried to tighten things a little bit more. But I do feel like it just kind of lost focus. If they had just done an entire episode that was Dr. Pershing and Elia Kane and not gone back to Din Djarin and Bo-Katan and all that, I would have been fine. But it's just the fact that they just slipped it in the middle. Although it does kind of remind me, speaking of another Pedro Pascal show, it does kind of remind me of episode 3 of The Last of Us. So maybe it is worthwhile. Maybe they're setting something up for the remainder of the season. Who knows? But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you thought of The Mandalorian Season 3 episode, The Convert, down in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, click that like button. If you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell so you can get updates when all my new videos come out. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Links are down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, this is the way.